From KWCH 12 Eyewitness News, breaking news.
Many Kansans may find it as startling as I have that such things could happen here.
Prosecutors say 3 men stockpiled weapons planning to target Somali and Muslim immigrants in southwest Kansas. Now those men face life in federal prison. These men, Curtis Allen, Gavin Wright, and Patrick Stein, are accused of domestic terrorism after an 8-month-long FBI investigation.
We have a crew in Wichita and southwest Kansas tracking these breaking details. We begin with Akeem Ashford, who was just briefed by the U.S. Attorney and FBI in the last hour. Akeem.
Mike and Melissa, the U.S. Attorney calling this planned domestic terrorism by 3 men who are from southwest Kansas. The U.S. Attorney says the men plan to carry out that attack, which they, quote, would say, wake people up. Now, this is part of an 8-month investigation into a plot the attorney's office says 3 men plan to carry out after the November election. Officials say the men were part of a small group called the Crusaders, which consists of a hidden culture of hatred and violence. They plan to carry that attack out on a group of Somalian immigrants who live in an apartment complex there in Garden City and who also worship there. The U.S. Attorney says the men gathered a large amount of ammunition and firearms they plan to use in that attack. They plan to fill 4 trucks with explosives, park them on each corner of the buildings, and create what they call a large explosion. Now, Special Agent Jackson said the men had every intention and means to carry out this attack.
We received numerous information from the community related to matters all the time. So specifically saying how we received the information, I would withhold from that. But the fact is that we did receive the information, and we were able to stop this plot before it was completely undertaken.
Now, all 3 men are in the Sedgwick County Jail tonight on 1 count of conspiring to use a weapon of mass destruction. We will continue to follow the story and bring you the latest.
Akeem, thank you. Jacob Albrock is outside the apartment complex in Garden City. It's the apartment complex and mosque where the FBI says the attack was planned. He continues our Team 12 coverage. Jacob.
This is the Garden Spot Apartments, and this is the place where we're told approximately 120 Somali refugees live, and many of them work at the Tyson meat processing plant. And I want to sort of explain a little bit here. When we say mosque, there's actually a prayer space at this building. It's not necessarily a standalone building, but some of the residents here tell me it's actually this door behind me that leads into a room where this community right here within Garden City can gather and pray a little bit. Now, I'll also be honest and tell you that there has been a bit of a language barrier since I've been here. We have talked to a few people and tried to communicate with them. The one emotion that has come through despite a language is absolute shock. These people are shocked that this could ever happen. They say that they're very happy living here, and it's just something that they're going to have to, learn about, and many of them will be doing that in this newscast as they're just getting home from work. So we're going to talk to some more of these people now. We have talked to a few that are representatives of sort and speak a little better English, so we'll try and get some of that and get some of that emotion for you. Go inside this room, this prayer space, and find out what this community thinks as they're learning about this news, as many Kansans are, and again, shock the emotion that's playing through here now. We'll check back in with you guys from here at 6 o'clock.
Jacob, thanks. Fact Finder 12 investigator Devin Fastfinder is looking into these suspects' backgrounds. She joins us now from the breaking news desk with what we know. Devin?
Well, I looked at the Facebook accounts of the 3 men arrested. Curtis Allen and Gavin Wright are owners of a business called G&G Homes in Liberal. It's a business that sells modular homes out of Liberal. Gavin Wright wrote on the homepage of that business saying he's not from Liberal originally. Now, Curtis Allen specifically shared many anti-Muslim posts on his Facebook. Here's a look at some of those. He also alludes to the Liberty Pledge, which he links to on his Facebook page. The Liberty Pledge is a website that lists a plan and a declaration anyone can sign. The plan is to push the government to sign a new kind of constitution, one that abolishes our current federal government and creates a new one. The plan would make English the national language, among other changes. The Liberty Pledge is also connected with Kansas Security Force, a Kansas militia group. The FBI says Allen and Stein were leaders of that group, and Wright was a member. The FBI says an informant began going to their meetings in February and reported information.
These charges are based on 8 months of investigation by the FBI that is alleged to have taken the investigators deep into a hidden culture of hatred and violence.
The group claims its duty is to uphold the Constitution. It says members are not extremists. It calls itself, quote, organized volunteer militia gathering like-minded people. It says all citizens capable of bearing arms are allowed to join, and it holds meetings and trainings once or twice a month at varying locations. It is worth noting the FBI says the three branched off from this group with the informant and created their own subgroup to carry out this attack. I searched all three men on a database that shows past federal court cases. Only Curtis Allen showed up, and that was for bankruptcy, so that's unrelated. The others did not render any results.
Devin, thank you. This isn't the first arrest related to domestic terrorism in Kansas. Terry Lowen was sentenced to 20 years in prison last year. That's after he pleaded guilty to attempting to use a weapon of mass destruction. Lowen was arrested in December 2013 for bringing a van full of what he believed to be explosives onto the tarmac at then Mid-Continent Airport. The bombs were fake and had been given to Lowen by undercover agents. And just last year, two men were arrested for a plot to bomb a Kansas Army post. John Booker Jr. pleaded guilty to charges of attempting to use a weapon of mass destruction and attempting to use an explosive device to damage government property. He was arrested in April of 2015 outside of Fort Riley while trying to arm what he thought was a 1,000-pound bomb in a van. Alexander Blair was also arrested in that case for his role in helping Booker plan the attack.
Again, here's what we know right now. 3 men were arrested for a plot to bomb a Garden City apartment complex and mosque inside that complex. The FBI is calling it an act of domestic terrorism. The men targeted the complex because Somali immigrants lived and worshiped there. The FBI says the men have militia ties. If convicted, they face life in federal prison.